Well, this is certainly not how I expected to be leading a confirmation retreat. I was very much looking forward to, at the end of March, leading a traditional residential style retreat at Crestfield. And none of that is going to happen. And none of it's happening because of the coronavirus and social distancing and everything that we're currently enduring. As I was thinking about that and the impact it might have had on your program in doing confirmation this year, I didn't want that to leave you in a bad spot. So I wanted to go ahead and put together the content from the confirmation retreat that I would have talked about and get it out to you in as many different formats as I can. So I'm going to tell you a little about the overview of the retreat, where we're going to go concept-wise, and then talk a little bit about how I can see you using this. The flow of the confirmation retreat is basically going to have 4 main talks. They're going to be about 20 to 30 minutes each. I think the first session is actually going to be the longest. And the first one is going to be on 3 core truths. So it's been my experience that kids who are involved in church and kids who are involved in confirmation come at this from every perspective imaginable, from like super church nerds who are excited about doing confirmation to kids who are miserable and would rather not be there. And in the first session, I kind of want to put all that on the table and make all of that okay and say that no matter kind of where you're at, there's space for you and we're glad you're quote unquote here. And then outline kind of 3 core truths. Jesus loves you, or Jesus loves me. Jesus has a purpose for your life, or Jesus has a purpose for my life, and Jesus intends for us to live together or live in relationship. You'll notice that the language is kind of specific. Jesus loves you, Jesus loves me. This first session in particular, I'm trying to talk as much in first person of this is what I believe in more of a confessional style rather than a trying to convince. So there will be some convincing. But the reason I want to do it more confessional is that that's where we're kind of leading toward, is helping kids know how they can articulate a statement of faith. So one of the things I actually say in the first session is, I believe these things to be true for you, but you don't have to believe them to be true. But those are kind of the framing concepts. Like those are 3 like big ideas that I want kids to know that I'm putting on the table, because I think that they kind of frame out the rest of the weekend or our time together. The second one is going to be faith is whole life and not just brain. So faith is a weird concept that we tend to mean a lot. We tend to use it pretty interchangeably with believe, and that's not actually true. I believe is one thing, I have faith in is another, and I want to kind of distill that out and say that faith is not just something that you believe, faith is something that you do and that you live. And I want to dovetail that into the concept of doubt. One of the things that I think is really important is that kids know that doubt is okay, that having good, hard, serious questions is okay. And I want to get that out on the table right away. So in the second session, I'm going to talk on faith. I'm going to talk about unbelief, faith, and doubt, and kind of how I see the 3 of them relating to one another and how I think they relate to confirmation. The third session, we're going to delve a little bit into the sacraments, into baptism and the Lord's Supper, and specifically how they take faith from being something that we simply believe, a head thing, and make it a physical body thing. They're something that we do. So again, building on the idea that faith isn't just something that is an academic brain exercise, but is something that we actually live and can experience. We're going to do that. And the fourth session is going to be this is what I believe, talking about statements of faith. Statements of faith, for a lot of my experience in confirmation, end up being kind of the Apostles' Creed repackaged, and I don't think that's very helpful. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how, to me, a good statement of faith talks about what we've been taught, what we experienced, and what we know, and how that together forms this is now what I believe. So that a statement of faith is as much a statement of personal belief, of kind of statement of what the church has taught, but also a statement of this is what God has done in my life, and this is how I know these things to be true. So that's kind of the overview of the 4 sessions. My hope for you, since most of you, if you use these materials, are going to have to do it virtually, is I'm going to give it to you 2 ways. I'm going to give it to you on YouTube, and I'm going to give it to you as a file. You use it how you want to. One of the ways you might want to think about using it is if you're doing confirmation over Zoom, you may want to get everyone on a Zoom call, share your screen, and then play the talk, and then do the small group questions together. That could be one option. Another option could be having kids making the assignment to watch the talk with kids, with their parents, and then get together on Zoom and discuss it. It's up to you. But I'm going to give you the file so you can do what you want with it, but also a playlist and a YouTube link. I'm also going to give you a leader's video that's only for you to kind of help you get up to speed. Normally, I would write out like a leader's guide, but that's going to be a lot of writing, and it's easier for me to just explain it to you. So you're going to get kind of this as an intro video to the whole thing. You're going to get the 4 talk videos, and then you're going to get a leader's video, and then you're going to get a set of small group questions for each talk. I had hoped and planned actually to get all 4 talks recorded, all 4 small group questions out, and get them out to you all at the same time. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because I've been way busier than I thought, but also because I want to get materials in your hands sooner than later, and then it'll kind of let me build. So I do plan to add as time goes on until I get all 4 up and going. So the one thing I do want to say, and I'll say this in kind of each of the leaders' videos, is I write a lot of small group questions. I think for the first session there's 7 small group questions. That's probably more than you want to use. Take a look at maybe 3 of them, 4 of them that you think will resonate well with your kids. Modify them, change them, add to them, whatever it is you want to do. Those are there for you, but please don't religiously stick to those 7 questions because I have to ask these questions. It's probably more questions than you have time for. So I think that's all I want you to know on the overview. And I hope this ends up being helpful. Use it in any way you can. Change it, modify it, do whatever. Just wanted to get something in your hands to help you along as we all try and figure out how to do this in very different ways.